Trending. Cardi B featuring Kalani, official video. Alright, I came on the roof because I think this is the only place where I'm actually going to get enough quiet to do this video this morning. And if the dog is too disruptive... Alright, so Trending Tuesday, and trending, at least in Canada, is this video called Ring. Cardi B featuring Kalani. Maybe it's just an accident, but I'm noticing a trend in that 3 of the 4 Trending Tuesdays we've done have been music videos. We had Fifi, Feifei, we had... The dog's getting annoying. Yeah, you're going downstairs. Let's go. We had the Drake song, which was called In My Feelings. And now we have Cardi B Ring featuring Kalani, the official. And now the street cleaners are coming because it's Tuesday and they're making noise. I can't get silence. I need a studio. I need padded walls. I need a straight jacket. I'm joking, just padded walls, that'll be enough. Okay, not even padded walls, just foam walls. I just need a quiet space. I need a quiet space. I have no more quiet space. Just gonna wait for this to pass. All right, that's as good as I think we're gonna get. Cardi B. Now, watching this video, that's a train in the background. Find a quiet place, find a quiet place. Now I'm watching this video and the theme is Ring and we're seeing shots of the ocean and I don't know what the connection is. It's beautiful visual imagery, but I don't know what the connection is to the video. Except maybe that it's a long distance call and they're calling cross seas. I don't know. One thing I find interesting in this video is its historical representation of switchboard operators back in the day when there were actual switchboard operators to control one phone call going from one person to another person. I will refer you all to a very interesting source on this, Wikipedia. Switchboard operators existed until the 1960s and they were literally people who would plug in the incoming call to connect it to the receiving end of the call. Switchboard operators, hence operators. And I grew up in the 80s. Growing up in the 80s, operators still played a very active role in society. I remember we used to call up the operator to ask them what time it was because we didn't all have phones and we didn't all have watches. It's totally cool and it's out of this world to think that at one point in time you had a middle person literally trafficking the outgoing call to the receiving end and could in theory just listen in on the entire call. And we complain about privacy nowadays, but whatever. I digress. Is it me or did they make a strategic decision to make both Cardi B and Kalani look virtually identical? They're standing next to each other and I actually can't tell which one is which and I'm not sure if it was done on purpose or this is just now the style that they are thinking people need to be doing for style reasons in terms of hair color and dresses and whatnot. I just sounded exquisitely old. I apologize. Alright. Kalani's tattoos are actually quite beautiful from an objective, artistic, quality perspective. I personally don't have tattoos, and I'm not sure I'll ever get one because I'm sometimes angry and kick myself for having ordered the salmon instead of the steak. I'm not sure I'm going to put ink on my body that's going to last for the rest of my life. Plus, I'm not sure what it's going to look like later on in life in terms of sagging skin and exposure to the sun and all sorts of stuff like that. But I digress yet again.
Call first, I can't decide. I want to, but...
Okay, my wife made a very astute observation this morning. I don't have to stick to #1 trending just because it's #1 trending, because we live in Canada and #1 trending here might not be Trending Tuesday in other countries. So we're moving on after I make one observational point. It's something I notice in videos and I do comment on it a lot. It's the eyes. It's the sincerity of the eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. And a lot of times I watch these videos and I get a sense of insecurity or discomfort in the eyes of the subjects as though they don't actually believe in what they're doing in the video. And it's something that directors do pay attention to and they have to. In this video, I get the impression that at times, Cardi B and Kalani have a hint of discomfort in their eyes, like they don't fully buy into what they're being asked to do artistically in this video. Insecurity is a very, very subtle thing in the eyes. And I don't know, maybe I'm projecting, but I feel that there's somewhat of an insecurity or discomfort that I can see in the eyes from what they are being asked to do artistically in this video. That is as much as we can get out of this video, Ring. So we're moving on, because the next thing that's trending is Philip DeFranco, and he's talking about, among other things, the Asia Argento situation. For those of you who live under a rock, It came out yesterday or the day before that Asia Argento, who was among the most vocal spokespeople who broke the story about the Harvey Weinstein, about her story that happened with Harvey Weinstein at Cannes Film Festival back in 1997. It was her and Rose McGowan that broke the whole hashtag Me Too movement and set the whole thing in motion. So it's come out now that Asia paid off a settlement to an individual, a male who was 17 at the time of the incident. She was 37 at the time of the incident. She paid him off last year, something in the order of $380,000 to end a threat of litigation that came from what we call a letter of demand or a notice to file, I think, in California. To set the context, it was an incident that took place in 2017 when the accuser, who was 17 years old, Asia was 37 years old, said they had an encounter. According to the accuser, Asia and he had an incident where they met up at a hotel. The accuser showed up with family. Asia allegedly told the family member to leave. The accuser and Asia had an encounter where apparently Asia, and I'm quoting from the notice of intent, gave him alcohol. They proceeded to have relations. The accuser in 2017 filed a notice of intent after the whole thing broke with Harvey Weinstein and Asia Argento. And it's an interesting thing. Now, watching Philip DeFranco, I actually love watching Philip DeFranco because it's not just that he's insightful and thoughtful, but he is more interested in setting the perspective than offering an opinion. He always says, you know, people are asking me what I think, and it brings me back to a video that I made, which is, it doesn't matter what you think, it matters why you think it. And I'll post a link to that vlog wherever at the end of this video, but it's an important thing that people don't understand and don't fully appreciate and don't necessarily fully grasp. Everyone can have an opinion. It doesn't matter what your opinion is, it matters what it's based on. And so let's take the facts in this case before we start expressing our own opinions, and before we even start coming to our own opinions, let's detail the facts, and then more important than detailing our own opinions, let's just see if we can actually set out what are going to be the various positions of this based on the facts. The facts. You have a 17-year-old accuser, male, accusing a 37-year-old aggressor, we'll call it for lack of a better word, of sexual improprieties. It occurred 2013. Some of you are going to be saying 17 years old is a child, it's not a child, you know, juveniles at 17 get tried as adults, etc., etc. Those are judgment calls. The facts are, the accuser was 17, the alleged aggressor was 37. The fact is that in California at the time, 17 is a minor. The facts, whether or not a 17-year-old can willingly consume alcohol, alcohol was consumed. The fact, the accuser said nothing until 2017 when Asia came out and spoke out against Harvey Weinstein. The fact, the accuser sent a notice of intent, which is like a letter, a threatening letter, I'm going to sue you if we don't settle. They settled. Apparently under California law, civil settlements can't remain confidential, so now we're finding out the terms of the settlement, and there was a settlement. The fact, the alleged aggressor paid off the accuser in order to end potential litigation. What conclusions, not do I draw from this, what conclusions can anyone draw from this? And I can set out the various positions. Whether or not I agree with them is irrelevant, but it's important not to necessarily agree with opinions that we don't share. It's important to understand them. Some people are going to say, it's black and white, it's objective. He was a minor, she was a 37-year-old adult, it's sexual assault, period. Don't blame the victim. Don't accuse the victim of having consented any more than anyone's going to accuse the victims of Harvey Weinstein of potentially having consented. Other people are going to say, he's not a kid, he's 17 years old. 17-year-olds are not given alcohol. They willingly consume it. They willingly engage in this type of behavior. The people who espouse this belief are going to say the alleged victim doesn't come out until Asia Argento comes out against Harvey Weinstein. He comes out at the same time she comes out asking for $3.8 million in damages. It's purely an opportunistic tactic to try to extort money out of someone because the timing is good. Now he can go after her for the same things she's going after Harvey Weinstein about. Maybe he saw a lawyer who says, you know what? You weren't just a willing participant in this, you were actually a victim. Maybe he gets talked into it by a spirited lawyer who says, dude, whether or not you realize that you have a claim here, the people who don't agree with this are going to say you're victim blaming, his intent doesn't matter, you believe him regardless. Other people can say that Asia is damaged from her encounter with Harvey Weinstein. This is her method of coping with it, trying to heal, trying to connect, trying to relive a childhood that maybe was damaged of her own. We also live in a world of social media where there is no subtlety, there is no room for finesse, for detailing, for understanding. People are just after the 140 character conclusion, insult, quip, comeback. More important than having an opinion is knowing the facts. But still, more important than having an opinion is trying to genuinely understand the other opinions, what they're going to say, what they're going to believe, why they believe it. You look at something like this, none of us are ever going to have perfect information to know the facts. None of us are going to know the intent of the individuals behind it. We're not going to know. We're going to know what people's memories are of things that occurred years ago. And memory is a very interesting thing because it's one of those things that can be transformed through subsequent experience. Your memory of an incident can and will change over time, and your assessment of that incident, which took place years ago, is going to be shaped, molded, almost potentially deformed by things that happen to you later in life. Your memory of an incident is malleable. It will change based on not things that occurred at the time, but things that occurred since that time. You will have different sensitivities based on life experience, and when you look back at certain things that you did, you will remember them differently, and you will remember your own emotions differently. Nothing you can do about it. So none of us are ever going to have full facts about any of these things. What we're going to have are black and white facts, which are dates, pictures. We're never going to have full knowledge of intent. We're never going to know really what goes on behind closed doors. What transpired leading the accuser to file this notice of intent. There are things that we have to accept we're never going to know the answer to, so we have to accept that our opinions on them are going to be imperfect. What is more important than having an opinion and saying this is my opinion, respect it? We have to be able to understand what the other sides are going to think and why. Okay, that's it. I left the kid watching Sesame Street. I have another kid who's playing on the computer, and I was lucky to be able to get this one out. Now I gotta go do a ninja quick edit. By the way, like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification button if you like my videos. If you don't, you know, you can still subscribe and hit the notification, but whatever. The schedule that we have established now on this channel that's sort of taking shape and becoming more concrete. Montreal Mondays, where we do something Montreal. Trending Tuesdays, where we look at something that's trending and either try to be funny or insightful. Wednesdays, I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. Thursdays, Law Vlog Thursdays, where we tackle a contemporary issue from a legal perspective, or I share an anecdote of my life, some insight that I've had through the experience that I've had in law. Fishing Friday, something Saturday, something Sunday, and that's the end of the week. Peace out. Booyah.